If you want to grow on YouTube, you've already figured out that thumbnails matter. That's not where you're stuck. You're stuck because nobody shows you what good enough thumbnails even look like in the first place. I've been making thumbnails for over a decade with no design training, and you clicked on this one. So let me show you what to aim for, the few things that actually move the needle, and why right now closing that last gap is easier than it's ever been. There is a level to your thumbnails that they need to reach. It's right here. Below it, and you look amateur. People scroll past. But above it, you're spending hours tweaking things that don't really move the needle. The goal is clearing this line, not perfection, not Mr. Beast level overly engineered thumbnails, just clearing this line. That means most creators fall into one of two spots. You're either below the line, and it's fixable with a handful of specific changes, or you're above it, agonizing over details that stopped mattering a long time ago. Either way, the distance is shorter than you realize. But to clear the line, you have to be able to see it. And most creators skip this step entirely. They sit down to make a thumbnail without ever studying what's actually getting clicked in their niche. So they're trying to build something with no reference for what it should look like. And that's where everything falls apart. So here's how you fix that. Go to YouTube right now, and then search for a topic that you're making videos about. Sort by view count, or look at what's been posted recently and performing well. Pull up 10 to 15 thumbnails that are getting real traction, not from the biggest channels in the world, from channels in your range, maybe one tier above you. Now look at those thumbnails together. What do they have in common? What level of polish are they hitting? That's the line. That's what you need to match or beat. Doing this will change how you approach every thumbnail from here on out. Now let me show you the tool that I use because it makes this process a whole lot faster. This is one of 10. It is an outlier search tool for YouTube. Instead of manually searching and sorting, it has a database of all the best performing videos on the platform. I search by topic, filter by performance, and instantly see thumbnails that are actually getting clicked right now. Not from 2 years ago. It does it in seconds what the manual process does in like 15 plus minutes. And I'm looking at these the same way I just described. I'm not trying to copy any of them. I'm asking one question. What does that line look like? What level of quality are people in my niche responding to? Because once you've seen it, whether you found it manually or with a tool like this, you stop comparing yourself to channels with full design teams. You start comparing yourself to a target you can actually hit. And that shift changes everything about how you approach thumbnails. You stop guessing and you start building towards something specific. I actually put together a document on finding the best thumbnail text to pair with your titles. When you sign up for my newsletter, I send it to you along with 6 other documents that cover titles, scripting, hooks, and audience analysis. There's a link in the description if you want those. But knowing the line exists and knowing what to fix are two completely different things. So let me show you the specific things that separate a thumbnail that's almost there from one that actually gets clicked. Before I walk you through these, I want to reframe something. You don't need to be a designer to get your thumbnails good enough. You've spent your entire life looking at things. Ads, movie posters, book covers, packaging in grocery stores. You've been training your eye for decades without realizing it. You already know what looks good and what looks bad. You just might not have a way to name it yet. So let me give you the vocabulary that your gut already understands. There are 6 things that I look for in every thumbnail, and they're easy to spot once you know them. So think about how many thumbnails you scroll past YouTube every single day. Most of them blur together, and there's usually actually one reason. Watch what happens when I adjust the contrast on this old thumbnail of mine. Let's see if you can spot the difference. One version, everything kind of blends together. In the other version, you see the silhouette without effort. That one adjustment is often the difference between scrolled past and, wait, what's that? Not a redesign, not starting from scratch, just one detail. That's the power of contrast. Your subject needs to pop from the background, and when it does, your thumbnail starts doing its job before anyone even reads the text. Now here's something that most creators don't think about until it's too late. Over half of your viewers are watching on their phone. You need to look at your thumbnails at a tiny size. Can you read the text? Because if you can't read it on your phone at arm's length, neither can they. And if they can't read it, it doesn't exist. And it kills more thumbnails than anything else on this list. And while we're talking about text, if you're going to use it in your thumbnail, it needs to add something that the title doesn't. They're a team. If your thumbnail text just repeats your title, you've wasted half of your most valuable real estate. Make the text emotional if you can. Make it land differently than the title does. So you've got contrast, making things pop, readability, making sure people can see your text, and your text is actually doing its job. But even when all 3 of those are right, there's still a way to lose someone before they click. Your eye needs to know where to go. When there's too much happening, your eye bounces around and the brain says, too much work, and then they scroll past. That's focal point. One clear thing to look at, not 3 or 5, just one. And then there's something that separates I made this in 5 minutes from this person knows what they're doing. When everything sits on one flat layer, it looks amateur. Adding layers, shadows, slight positioning changes transforms the thumbnail. It's not complicated. It makes the whole image just feel a little bit more intentional. And this last one ties everything together. Simplicity. 3 to 5 elements max. Under 5 words of text. More than that, and it falls apart at mobile size. Most creators add too much because they're afraid of leaving something out. But in thumbnails, less is almost always more. Those 6 things: contrast, readability, text, focal point, depth, simplicity. Those are the bones. Get those right and you've cleared the line in any niche. And once you know what to look for, you can study any thumbnail and see exactly why it works or doesn't. So let me show you what I mean. I've pulled up thumbnails that are performing right now. And instead of just thinking, that looks good, I'm applying what we just talked about. If you look at this one, you can see how the subject pops from the background. That's contrast doing the heavy lifting. This one, the text is huge and readable even at a small size, and it adds something that the title doesn't. This one, clear focal point, your eye goes exactly where it should. And this one, look at the depth, layers, shadows, nothing sitting flat. Once you know these principles, you can look at any thumbnail that's working and see exactly why. You start seeing it everywhere. Good thumbnails aren't magic. They're just a handful of small things done right. So if you take nothing else from this video, just look at your thumbnails through these lenses before you upload. That alone puts you ahead of most creators on this platform. I actually have 5 specific checks that I run every single thumbnail through, and that video there in the corner goes deep into each one if you want to check it out next. Now here's something that you can do right now that most people won't. Go back to your last 3 thumbnails and look at them through these 6 lenses. You'll see exactly what needs to change. Go do that right now, and then like this video while you're at it. But here's what happens to most creators who nail these principles. They get their thumbnail to about 70%. It looks good, it's clean, it's readable, it passes all the checks, and then they hit a wall. There's one thing that they can't quite pull off, one element that's just beyond their current skill level. And then they either settle for 70% or they spend days frustrated trying to close that last gap. So let me show you what that looks like in practice and how I close that gap in minutes on one of my recent videos. I've had a specific thumbnail in my mind for years. It's simply me pointing to the end of a retention graph with the line in front of me glowing. I can see it perfectly in my head. This clean, dramatic image that tells you everything you need to know at a glance. And it started the same way every thumbnail starts for me. References. Inside one of 10, I have these bookmark folders where I save thumbnails that inspire me. You could do the same thing with a Pinterest board, a folder on your desktop, screenshots on your phone, whatever works. The point is building a collection over time. And this folder right here is everything that had the feel I was going for with this retention graph concept. Every time I came across a thumbnail that had an element I liked, I saved it. So by the time I sat down to build mine, I wasn't working from a vague idea in my head. I had a collection of specific references showing me exactly what I was aiming for. I really like the lens flare on the finger in this one. This is a huge difference. I think I know what I want versus I know exactly what I'm building towards. And you can do this for every single video. So when I sat down to build it in Photoshop, I had my photos from the shoot, I had the retention graph, I had the composition figured out, and I got it most of the way there. This is what I made. Now that you can see what I can see, you can tell that this is about 70% there. The composition works, the graph is positioned right, I'm in the right spot on the frame. But the one thing that I couldn't nail was a glow effect. I wanted that neon graph line to cast light on me. That's the element that brings the whole thing together. And every way I tried it in Photoshop, it looked wrong, fake, bad. I just didn't have the skill. Now, 6 months ago, this is where the process would have stopped. I would have had to either settled for stage 2 or burned an entire day trying to figure out a glow effect manually. But let me show you what happened instead. I took what I had and I went to AI, and the prompt was literally this. More of a neon glow lighting on me from the graph and a lens flare on my pointer finger. That's it, the whole prompt, and it gave me this. Which is completely over the top, way too much. But the glow effect on me looked right. The light was hitting the right places. So I took this and I erased bits selectively. I reduced the intensity of the glow and I kept that subtle light on my skin and I threw away the rest. And that's the final thumbnail. Look at the distance between stage 2 and stage 4. That's the gap we're talking about. One prompt, some erasing, that's it. And the result is a higher quality thumbnail than I could have made on my own. But this process isn't just for finishing touches. It's one of the biggest time traps in thumbnails, and that's committing to hours to building a concept that doesn't work. So let me show you how fast concept testing can be now. These are the mock-ups for this video, the one you're watching right now. Now you could sketch these out by hand, or mock them up in Canva, or rough them out in Photoshop. The skill is testing the idea before you commit to making it real. But here's how fast it can be with AI. As I'm filming this, I plan to test 2 different packaging options. So I wrote 1 prompt for each. That's 8 thumbnail concepts and 2 prompts. These aren't meant to be finished thumbnails. They're mock-ups. But I can see immediately which concepts are worth building and which ones aren't by looking through those 6 lenses. 8 concepts in minutes instead of hours or even days. And now I know which ideas work before I commit to any real time building them. If you want to play around with this, I've got a link in the description where you can try 1 to 10 for the first month for only $1. The principles from earlier still apply no matter what tool you use. This just closes that gap between what you can picture in your head and what you can actually make. So now the question is, why is this video happening right now? Why am I telling you this today and not 2 years ago? Because what I just showed you was not even possible a year ago. And I don't mean it was hard, I mean it was nightmare fuel. A year ago, if you wanted AI to help you with your thumbnails, you had to do a full photo shoot, not a casual one. High quality photos from yourself from every angle. Upload 10 or more of them, train an AI model on your face, and then the avatar that it generated still didn't look like you. It was in that uncanny valley territory. It looked like your cousin's wax figure at a discount museum. The thumbnail that I just made with 1 sentence, that would have taken me days and still looked worse. That's not a small improvement. That's a completely different reality for creators who aren't designers. The line for good enough hasn't gotten higher. The difficulty for reaching it has dropped. The people who said, I can't do this a year ago were probably right. But right now, that same person with the same skills can make something they're genuinely proud of. The tools have caught up to the vision. I'm figuring this out in real time, and I'm sharing it with you as I go. I share deeper and more personal insights about my process in my newsletter, Boundless Creator. And don't forget, when you join, you get my thumbnail document, plus 6 other in-depth guides for titles, scripting, hooks, audience analysis. The link is in the description. You can go grab them and then unsubscribe if you don't like my emails. No hard feelings. But knowing all of this only matters if you put it to use. So let me leave you with this. You're closer to making thumbnails that work than you were 10 minutes ago. And honestly, you're probably closer than you thought you were before you even clicked. You can see the line now. You know the 6 things that matter. You've seen how fast that last gap closes with the right tools. But there's a difference between making good thumbnails and knowing your thumbnails are good before you commit 20 hours to a video. That means having a system for validating your concepts, not just principles for making them. I made a video that goes deep on exactly that. The full validation workflow, 5 checks I run before I let myself hit publish, and how to test your concepts before you ever spend a single hour on production. That's where to go next.